once I found this technique, it changed the game. And I was able to sit down, find a flow state, fall in love with the work, and I ended up publishing my book in like 3 months. Creative work, it's no joke. You almost need to treat yourself like an elite athlete, like a high performance being, in order to get the best creative work out of yourself. Welcome to the Mastery with Michael podcast, hosted by yours truly, Michael Emily Schuster. I'm here to help you stop spinning your wheels and start operating like a truly mastered CEO. On this podcast, I'm pulling back the curtain on the calibrated business systems, magnetic messaging, and sales psychology I use to help my students build full-time online businesses. I'll be giving you my best advice, internal trainings, and the mindset shifts required to start scaling your expertise and achieve complete mastery over your business. And I have an epic episode planned for you today, all around productivity hacks, how to get more done in less time, because that's what we're here for, right? We're building a business so that we can live our damn lives, our best lives. And I know that you have a deep connection to your work, and it's meaningful and it's fulfilling and it's a purpose, it's a calling. But I also know that it is not the only thing that you love to do. It's not the only way that you want to be spending your time. You likely have a partner, you have friends, you have family, you have hobbies, you have things that you like to do. Maybe you love to travel. Maybe you love hiking and skiing and golfing like me. And so finding a balance, a good work-life balance, means that you have to be ruthlessly efficient with your time. You have to maximize your productivity. And the problem is, we are not taught how to be efficient with our time. We are not taught how to be productive, how to work in really efficient sprints and bursts to get shit done so that we can move on and live our lives. In fact, we are actually encouraged to kind of be the opposite and get addicted to consuming content, consuming information. Our attention has been commoditized by big tech, by all the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, that we're utilizing to build our businesses, where we are creating. And yet there's also a little bit of a chokehold that we need to take responsibility for breaking free from, in order to spend way more time creating, way less time consuming. And so I have some incredible tools, methods, frameworks that I'm so excited to break down for you today, that is going to make a world of difference. When I learned all of what I'm about to share with you today, it changed my life. This is what allowed me to write a book. I wrote a book in 2021, 2022, and I was struggling to get things done. I was struggling to focus, to make it happen. I knew I wanted to, but I was like, how do I actually make myself sit down and do it? And if you've read the book by Stephen Pressfield, The War of Art, you'll be familiar with the concept of resistance, that any creative endeavor is always met with this resistance that comes up, that tells you not to prioritize doing the creative or productive thing that you want to do. And so getting familiar with that is also a big part of enhancing your creativity and your effectiveness. And so I was battling that resistance. And once I found this technique, it changed the game. And I was able to sit down, find a flow state, fall in love with the work. And I ended up publishing my book in like 3 months, right? So incredible, incredible things happen for your output, for your creativity, once you start to find out how to hack your own brain and way of being. So I'm really stoked to share all of that with you today. But as you know, before we can get into the meat, the golden nuggets of the episode, we have to thank our sponsor. And our sponsor is my own company. Michael Emily Coaching sponsors every single episode. And the signature offering of Michael Emily Coaching is Business and Messaging Mastery. This is my 6-month business mentorship school, where I work with my students side by side to take them from just starting out, brand new coaches, teachers. They're experts in their field. They have direct experience with their subject matter that they're here to serve and help other people with. But the business side of the equation is not something that my students have spent a lot of time studying or mastering. And that's where I come in with my 8 years of online business building, marketing, storytelling, branding, high ticket sales, delivery experience. I take my students through an 8 level system to go from brand new in their business to all of the skills, assets, processes, everything that they need set up to become full-time, thriving business owners, loving life, super efficient in their workflow. And yeah, this is my bread and butter. This is my baby. This is my greatest offering. It is so rewarding to see my students go through the process and the transformations that they experience on the other side. Heather, for example, came to me. She's a brilliant somatic practitioner. She does deep inner mother and inner child healing with her clients, but she had no idea how to build a client acquisition system. She wasn't able to clearly communicate the value of what she did in a way that people could immediately understand and be able to identify, ooh, yes, I want that, or no, I don't, or I know someone who needs that, right? And so we worked with her messaging, we dialed in her messaging, and then we built a client acquisition system for her that would allow her to nurture this incredible network of connections that she has and fill the pipeline of her funnel with prospects so that she's holding sales calls. She's qualifying students into her program. She knows exactly what she needs to do in order to make another sale, in order to get another client. And she has had strangers coming out of the woodwork, finding her website and sending her messages being like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for this. This is exactly what I need, which has been the most incredible proof of concept for the messaging work that we've done together. So if you need help taking your coaching business to full time, all of the information is down in the description, down in the show notes. You can apply for Business and Messaging Mastery today. And with that, let's go ahead and talk about the productivity hacks that will help you get more done in less time so that you can actually live your life. So I love a 3-step framework, and I have broken down what I want to share with you today into 3 main steps. The first step is going to be all about accessing the flow state, how to turn deep work into this flowing, fun, effortless kind of experience where it's like, I don't ever want to stop. Obviously, that's what makes you the most productive when you're tapping into the joy of the experience, the flow of creation, and you're not just sitting down and forcing yourself to make it happen. So we're going to talk about accessing the flow state and the best technique that I have found in order to make that happen. Number 2, we're going to talk about eliminating distractions, namely your smartphone or the apps that are there to steal your attention, right? So I have some great techniques on what you can do to create friction in your use, in your kind of unconscious phantom reaching for the phone. Oh my God, 30 minutes later, you're surfacing from a scroll hole and it's like, how the heck did I get here? What even happened? I know you've been there. I've been there. There's no shame in it, but just recognizing that that is a thing that happens and we need to address it in order to be more productive and actually get shit done and enjoy building our business and not sitting down spending 2 hours on a project that, ends up taking 6 because you're so distracted the whole time. And then finally, third is going to be resourcing, somatic exercises, and really the basics that play a really pivotal role in resourcing your nervous system, your body, your heart, your mind, your physical being in order to be able to sit down and function at the highest level. Creative work it's no joke. It's not something that we can take lightly. And you almost need to treat yourself like, an elite athlete, a racehorse, like a high performance being in order to get the best creative work out of yourself. So treating yourself like, okay, how would I be taking care of myself if I was an elite performer and I was also the team that was in charge of getting me to my highest potential, right? I'd be eating well. I'd be sleeping 8 hours at night. I'd be doing resourcing and somatic exercises to calm myself down, to make myself present, clear, and alert. So that's going to be the third step that we get into. Just a little preview. Let's go ahead and take it back to the top and discuss the flow state technique that allowed me to write and publish a book in less than 3 months. This is the Pomodoro Technique. And if you are unfamiliar with the Pomodoro Technique, like I was, listen up. This is about to change your life. The Pomodoro Technique, it's interesting where the name came from. There's something in the story, it could be true, it could be not, about the founder having a kitchen timer shaped like a tomato. He could have been Italian because Pomodoro is tomato in Italian, but essentially this is the timer technique. So how the Pomodoro method works is you sit down to do 2 hours of focused work. You have a written out list. Okay, this is exactly what I'm going to focus on for the next 2 hours. And then you might even break it down into 4 chunks because the Pomodoro technique is not sitting down and setting a timer for 2 hours. It's setting a timer for 25 minutes, working in sprints. So you set the timer and you get started and you work as quickly, as efficiently, and as fast as you can for 25 minutes. And then you take a 5-minute break. And on that 5-minute break, you are screen free. You're getting up away from your desk. You're stepping outside, getting a little sunshine on your face, getting a glass of water, maybe a snack if you need it. And then you're coming right back and sitting down to do another 25-minute work sprint. And you're timing yourself for every sprint, every break, and you do 4 cycles of that. So 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. That's 2 cycles. 25 minutes on again, 5 minutes off. And then the last cycle, 25 minutes on with a 5-minute break, could be followed by a longer break, 10, 20 minutes. Maybe it's a lunch break, right? Maybe you're taking your dog for a walk. And then you can come back and do another 2-hour deep work sprint in those 4 cycle chunks, or maybe that's all you need for the day to do your deep work. This is an absolute game changer. And part of what happens when you're using this correctly is you're enjoying the work, you're getting into the work, but then you're still forcing yourself to take a break, pause, allow your brain to sort of ruminate on what it is that you're working on, what it is that you're creating as you get up and you step away. And that just creates the most incredible space for ideas and downloads and things to drop in that wouldn't have otherwise if you were just focused on the work for the entire 2 hours. It also creates this tension where you're enjoying the work, you're in the flow state, you don't want to take a 5-minute break, but it's actually essential that you do, and you step away from the work before you're done and you're burnt out and your focus is gone and you're just like, eyes are bleeding because you've been looking at your screen and you've been typing away and you're in the zone. Like, step away before you're ready to keep coming back refreshed, take the break, jump back in. What this does is it allows you to work for longer stretches of time because you're taking the breaks that you need to refresh yourself instead of just going hard and staying in the zone for 2 hours is going to burn you out, right? So taking the breaks is huge. This method is incredible. I have a website to refer you to do the timing for you. It's really aesthetic. It's pleasing to the eye. You can have a tab open that shows you the timer counting down as you're working in another tab doing what you need to do. The website is called app.flocus.com. So Flocus is the tool, FLOCUS.com, completely free to use. There is a paid version of it. I haven't found a need for the paid version. The other little tip, little pro tip that you might want to try on is putting on some music, like some lo-fi hip hop beats. I have a go-to playlist that I will pull up on YouTube or Spotify, and I will just listen to some sort of vibey, chill, non-vocal music that really just gets me into that flow state as well. So check it out. The Pomodoro Technique is an absolute game changer. You might be wondering, what should I be focusing on during my deep work? If I'm brand new to coaching, if I'm trying to build my coaching business, what is the most important thing for me to focus on? And that is going to be marketing and sales, specifically creation. Content creation is your best avenue to do your marketing, to spread the word, to talk about what you have to offer. So spending 2 hours of your day to dedicate first thing to content creation and reach outs. So creation and connection are going to be the top two things that you need to focus on in order to get your first clients. And when you don't have any clients, when you don't have anything else to attend to in your business, when you're just starting out, you have all the time to focus on content creation and making connections, doing reach outs, going to networking events. That is where all your focus should be. But at minimum, 2 hours, first thing in the morning, create a post, make a list of 25 people that you could reach out to, that you could offer your services to, or get a referral from them about someone that they know who would be interested in your services. I have so much more to share on creation and connection, but that's the high level overview. Deep work should be spent on creation and connection when you are first building your business. Let's move on to point number 2, which is removing distractions. Your flow state, your Pomodoro technique, is only going to be effective if you have a physical barrier between you and your phone. Now, let me give you an example of why this is so important. Actually, this is so prevalent. I opened up Riverside to record my podcast here today, and I saw that I had a stream spike on Sunday, February 15th. I had 18 streams that day, which is the highest day of streams. And I was like, okay, what caused that? What happened there? And so I immediately grabbed my phone to open up Instagram and be like, did I post something on the 15th that was really effective? For reference, I'm recording this on the 23rd. And so we're like a week past that. It wasn't top of mind. I was like, what did I do promotion wise that was that effective to get me an 18 stream spike? I need to check it out. And lucky me, I had my phone bricked so that I couldn't open up the Instagram app. It came up with the blocker, said this app is a distraction. Get out of here, basically. And I was like, thank goodness. I almost just got hijacked because I wanted to go down a rabbit hole instead of sitting down to do what I sat down to do, which was record this podcast. But I guess it gave me that fun little anecdote to share with you. So that's part of my top tip, is using a physical phone blocker like Brick. If you haven't seen advertisements for Brick, it is a physical NFC device. You don't charge it. It doesn't need a battery or anything. It just sits on a shelf somewhere or in a drawer. And when you tap your phone to it, you can select it to block access to certain apps. So I have Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube all blocked when my phone is in brick mode. And then if you want to unbrick your phone, you have to physically get up, walk over to the brick, and tap it with your phone again. This has been a game changer compared to the limitations that you can put on your phone, the settings that your phone makes available to you, like focus mode. I use Do Not Disturb. I'm using Do Not Disturb right now so that I'm not getting notifications while I'm trying to record. And they have actual time limits that you can set on the apps, but when the controls are coming from your device itself, it's so easy to just get in there and bypass them and be like, yep, ignore that. Let me through. I'm going to change that setting, right? Without getting up. And so the physical barrier of having that break in another room, it just snaps you back into the moment where it's like, hang on, whoa, I don't actually want to go down a rabbit hole and look at Instagram right now. I'm here to focus. I'm here to get shit done. So here we go. An alternative to brick, if you're not wanting to buy something, spend money, is just putting your phone in another room, in a drawer, in the bedroom, so that you can sit in your office at the laptop with your notebook and focus, get shit done without notifications coming up. I highly recommend having it set so that you don't get notifications when you're in work mode, turning on do not disturb. If that is available to you, if you have to be responsive for emergency purposes, that's something else. But, that could be something to look at where it's like, I am not available and I will not respond between the hours of 8 in the morning and 12. After that, in the afternoon, I will respond. You can hear from me. And just set those boundaries with your family, with your friends, with anyone who would be needing to get a hold of you. Another great thing to put in place so that you are monitoring your device usage is a screen time tracker on your phone. Now, I have a Google Pixel, so it runs Android system, and I can set a screen time widget right there on my home screen so that every time I pick up my phone and I unlock it, I have that screen time widget that is the first thing that catches my eye. So it's tracking my daily screen time, and it will track it, across the week or the month, and I'll be able to go back and see trends. Just tracking and having an idea of how much time you're spending on your phone, which apps you are spending your time on, is a great, I'm going to say, not even a great idea, probably a non-negotiable for an online entrepreneur. Like, this is serious. This is your business. This is your livelihood at stake. And your focus is the only thing that you have to make this dream a reality. Where focus goes, energy flows. So what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on creating, or are you getting stuck in a consumption loop, scrolling, distracting yourself, coping, right? So track that screen time, know how much time you're spending on the apps. Maximum amount of time that you should be spending on Instagram is an hour, maximum an hour per day to get your post out there, to connect with people in your community. Get in, get done, get out. Okay. And that brings us to point number 3, which is resourcing. I'm going to take us back to the Pomodoro Technique for a minute and point out that you can use your 5-minute breaks to do a quick breathwork exercise, to do a 5-minute meditation or visualization, to just sit with your eyes closed, be still, and do a body scan. And I have a great resource that I want to recommend to you for that. It is called Open. It is an app that you can use on your iPhone. You can use it on mobile if you have an iPhone, or you can use the website version if you have an Android, a Pixel like me. So what I like to do is I pull up the Focus tab, I pull up the Open site tab, and I'll go back and forth between the two and whatever other tabs, Canva, Riverside, who knows what I have open that I'm working on. And I'll monitor my time with Focus. And then on the breaks, I will sit and do a breathwork exercise, a 5-minute little resourcing exercise with Open. So it's an incredible tool for that. This third point of getting into resourcing, talking about somatic exercises, breathwork, meditation, it really gets at the crux of the issue, which is, why is it so hard for us to focus in the first place? And really the root of what's going on is that we've outsourced our ability to cope, to be present with ourselves, to the dopamine addiction of an algorithm and all the feel good, funny videos or whatever you're watching, whatever your feed is filled with that just gives you that little dopamine drip, drip after drip that kind of provides like a for your system where when that resistance comes up and you're attempting to do important work, access your flow state, be creative, create something, it sort of activates your system. It's uncomfortable. There is a lot of resistance to sitting down to get started with your work. That resistance to sitting down is the biggest barrier, the biggest motivational hurdle that you have to get through. And that temptation to sort of cope with the discomfort, with the resistance by turning to screens, feeling like you need to do research, feeling like you're not ready to take action. It still happens for me. Every time I sit down to record a podcast, I'm like, I'm a little bit nervous. Am I ready to do this? I mean, I write out my notes, I have an idea of what I'm going to speak about. And then somewhere in my brain, that perfectionist kind of, story gets looping where it's like, put your best foot forward. You got to speak and be perfect and say all the right things. And it's like, I've been in this business for years. I've been speaking on camera regularly since 2018, and I still have that voice in my head to deal with. So I know for you, if you don't have as much experience as I do, that voice is even louder. It's an even bigger hurdle to face. And so I'm going to walk you through the basics of what you need to be doing to treat yourself like an elite performer so that you can be resourced, so that you can be clear, ready to focus, calm and present. And that's really all that resourced means is like you have what you need to be at your best. Ultimately, we just want you to be feeling cool, calm, and collected and ready to go. So the basics, and you're going to roll your eyes as I go over this list because it's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. We all know this. I'll know this, but you don't know it if your life don't show it. So you can roll your eyes all you want, but if you aren't doing the basics on this list, you need to hear this more than anyone. Okay. Number one is going to be getting 8 hours of sleep every night, minimum. And what really is going to allow you to make this happen is going to bed and waking up at a consistent time within a 60-minute window. Aiming for going to bed between 9:30 and 10:30, let's say, and then aiming to wake up between 6 and 7. That's the window that I'm operating in currently. Sometimes I'm a little bit outside of that window, but there's not a whole lot of variance. And that allows me to get the rest that I need. My body gets tired at a predictable time so that I can fall asleep more easily. And then I can wake up more consistently, feeling rested, feeling ready to go. Next is going to be staying hydrated throughout your day, drinking water, having your emotional support water bottle next to you at all times, ready to support you in any given moment. Electrolytes are a really important mineral to add into your stack so that you're getting the salt, the potassium, the magnesium, whatever else they put in there that you really need, especially if you're sweating, if you're exercising, replacing those electrolytes. I love LMNT. And then my boyfriend, Paul, recently started making a homemade electrolyte supplement stack with creatine and turmeric. He's got all sorts of stuff in there. It's awesome. So getting yourself the minerals, the electrolytes, hydrated. Protein, when I learned this, it just blew my mind that in order to maintain muscle and energy on a daily consistent basis, you need to be getting 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. Oh my God. I weigh actually I haven't weighed myself in forever, but I'm probably around 140 pounds. Ideal body weight, like I'm right where I want to be. 140 grams of protein per day. That's like 40 grams of protein per meal. More than that. That's like almost 50 grams of protein per meal. I'm probably not getting that. I'm definitely not getting that, but I'm aiming for it. And I'm trying to supplement with more protein wherever I can because it's just not realistic to try to get all of that from your food. And so taking a protein supplement, I think it's super, super important in the morning, lunch as well. Like when you're feeling hungry, get yourself protein in the middle of your workday. The brain is using the majority of the calories that you're burning in a given day. So doing creative work, doing deep work is burning a ton of calories, and you're going to need quality calories coming in order to give you that sustained energy throughout your workday. Daily movement is also going to be super key. So getting into your body, whether that looks like stretching, going for a walk, lifting weights, doing yoga, pick your flavor, do something. And maybe it looks different at different points in your cycle. But daily movement is going to be so key in terms of allowing yourself to feel more regulated, calm, and present. When we spend all day up in our minds ruminating and having ideas and going over things and fixating and worrying and focusing, is like, I don't care how positive your mindset is, how good you are at reframing. It's actually not healthy for you to spend all of your time up here in your head. So get into your body, support your brain by moving your body. I'm not going to be able to pull a statistic out of my butt that's going to support this, but I know that the data is clear. Find some Andrew Huberman quote that says this. I'm sure it's out there, that physical movement and physical activity is the absolute best thing that you can do to support your brain health, creativity, and performance. It's out there. Sunlight, getting time outside. Again, on your 5-minute Pomodoro breaks, go step outside, stick your face in the sun, go for a walk. Actually, the number one hack that I recommend for getting your time outside is getting a dog. If you don't have kids, like me, get yourself a dog, because you will be more motivated to make sure your dog gets time outside than you will be to take yourself for walks. And so it's a win-win. It's an awesome hack. Get a dog, spend time outside, get your sunlight wherever you can. And then last on my list is going to be hugs, co-regulation, right? If you have a partner, institute a policy of 30-second or longer hugs. Oops, I'm squishing my microphone. Hopefully you can still hear that. 30 seconds or longer, hugging, holding, close connection, deep connected conversation where you're both present and you're there and you're supporting one another. Co-regulation is absolutely huge. And so make sure you're getting that in. Make sure you're on the same page with the people in your life about supporting one another and getting each other what you need in order to be at your best. So these are the basics: sleep, hydration, protein, daily movement, sunlight, and hugs. And if you're getting all 6 of these every single day, you're nailing it, cool. You can roll your eyes, you can skip this, but I guarantee you're probably missing at least one, because I know I'm not nailing all of these on a daily basis. And so that is why we need the reminder. The basics might seem basic, so we overlook them and we look for, what's the top new productivity strategy? And I know I clickbaited you a little bit with the productivity hacks in this title and episode, but it's true. The best hacks out there are going to be the basics that allow you to perform at your best, because you're feeling your best, because you're getting yourself everything that you need, right? So coming back to the basics again, make a checklist, put it on your wall, put it on your fridge, make it happen. You got this. Go get him, Tiger. This is your productivity masterclass. We talked about the flow state, the Pomodoro Technique, the app. The website that you want to check out is app.flocus.com. That will take care of all of your Pomodoro needs for you. Next, we talked about eliminating distractions, the brilliance of having a physical barrier between you and your phone, whether it's tucked away in a drawer in your bedroom or you've got an actual phone blocker, physical phone blocker like Brick. like I do, thanks to my friend Emma. Thank you, Emma. Love you. Makes a huge difference of just snapping you out of that, like, whoa, I just went into a trance and almost got stuck going down a squirrel hole. Whew, close call. And then number 3, the regulation practices. So I told you about the Open app or open.com. You'll find it on your browser or on the Apple App Store if you have an iPhone. Practices that get you into a more regulated state through breathing exercises, meditation. There's some movement practices, some somatic exercises on there as well, and prioritizing the basics. The basics are the basics because they work and they never go out of style. So make sure you are getting your sleep, you're staying hydrated, you're eating protein, you're getting time outside, you're moving every day, and you're getting hugs. And you're co regulating with another individual. If you're single, make sure you're scheduling in coffee chats with your friends and you're spending time with friends and you are just connecting to your people who care about you, who you really care about. And so that is it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed productivity hacks. I will see you next time.